heard it all the same, but go ahead.
Hello everyone, and happy new year. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season and are ready for a fantastic 2024. I wanted to start with one of the core elements of really who we are and how we can manifest things out in the world, and that is our energy. And energy is something so interesting because we can really study it now in ways that we weren't able to in the past. And there's some studies that show the power of energy and how it reverberates out into the world. In studies with, if you could match a pitchfork to the energy of different emotions, so say happy, sad, angry, etc., and you could isolate those atoms and put them in sort of a glass, like a wine glass, and you took a pitchfork that matched one of those atoms, it would actually cause that atom to spin so fast that the glass would just explode. So if you had a pitchfork of happy, the happy glass would explode. Nothing else would happen to the rest of them. It matches and expands the energy of that happy atom molecule. And then in another study with guitars, this one's really interesting too, and it goes to show how it leaves and it comes back. So you have two guitars, guitar A, guitar B, and guitar A puts out a frequency. These are exactly tuned together. This is obviously a very controlled experiment. You couldn't just do it with two guitars in your living room, I doubt. So two guitars, A and B. A frequency is created in A that goes out. B matches that sound and that frequency. Then if you stop A, what do you think happens? My thought initially was, well, B would stop, but it doesn't. It keeps going. But then when you release A, the B will go back and reactivate A. And this is true for our own energy sources. When we put out a certain frequency, it will come back. It will multiply and come back. So we want to be really conscious and conscientious about the kind of frequencies that we put out. And it's kind of interesting to even just feel it. So I want to do a little game, if you will. So just rub your hands. This one you may have done before, but just to get a sense of it, right? So we're rubbing our hands, creating a little bit of energy. And then you're just imagining that, you know, you're holding, like there's a ball or something, a ball of energy. Maybe it's a squishy ball. You can kind of press it. Maybe it's expanding and you could feel that energy expanding. Maybe it's being blown up with air and you can kind of feel it. So just sort of feel the energy of that ball. All right. So we get the sense that we can kind of feel energies, and if you don't feel it exactly, it's okay. Don't get too in your head about that. But we want to now, we're going to rub our hands again. And I want you, sorry, I'm going to do this. I promise I'll pull you out of this. I want you to think of maybe one of your nagging negative beliefs. I can't do it. It's too hard. Something where it's like spinning. Or maybe a time when things just like, really didn't work out for you. Got that? And I want you to just imagine that feeling and feel where your energy is. I know for myself, when I think of some of those like very negative beliefs, I feel as if my energy is very confined. It's like I can't even expand out. I'm just like here, I almost feel like I'm in a box. If anything, it feels like the energy is kind of imploding on me. And that's often how we feel in life too, right? Like, you know, you're like so absorbed by your own negative thoughts. You're literally like spiraling and self-imploding. But that's a little how I feel. Like it's really hard for me to even press my hands out. I feel like I'm pressing against a wall when I'm in that sort of negative space. So just sort of notice it for yourself. And then I want you to rub your hands again. We're going to shake that off a little and rub your hands again. And now I want you to think of something that made you really happy, or something you're super proud of, something that you did that you're like, yes, I did that. Or maybe a time, maybe even now, where you're just feeling madly, passionately in love. Any of those three powerful feelings, I want you to really choose one. Don't choose all three, choose one, and just feel what that feels like. And then go back and imagine again where your energy is. When you feel that, I know for myself, it's almost as if like my hands are being like pushed out, and it almost feels like they can't quite go out as far as that energy is. But I definitely don't feel like I'm in a cocoon. It's definitely much more expansive. So I'm curious how that is for you. And be mindful of it, because when we're in that sort of open, positive, believing that anything is possible, or what if it were easy? What would you do? What would that heart space expand into? That's when our energy is open, and just like the guitar, it can be reactivated by what comes to us. Which is why often when you're feeling really great and you're on fire and you feel like you're in flow, all of a sudden there's this flow of really great things happening. And sometimes when things aren't so good, you feel like you're self-imploding. And so as we embark on this new year, we want to be really conscious of our energy, because our energy is something we can control. We can control it by what we think, we can control it by what we do, we can shift our feelings by changing our physicality, our movement. You can Moticise, you can meditate, you can pray, you can write. There's lots and lots of activities that you can engage in to help shift both your thoughts and your energy. And that will make a huge impact, not only on the actions that you take, but in this particular case, the energy you put out and what is coming back to you. So, for a new year, have a new energy, and it will create the new you you're wanting.